Hi there, welcome back to the Oil and Gas Exports course. I am Rizwan Khazi. Why sellers must verify buyer credentials? In this video, you are going to learn about why sellers must verify buyers' credentials. Therefore, keep watching this video until end, and if you haven't joined my full course on oil and gas exports, then there is a link in the description. From there on, you can get into the complete oil and gas course. Now, before discussing why sellers must verify buyers' credentials, I want to discuss about a seller mandate actually who was excited in the beginning of the deal and got a huge loss after starting the deal. What happened? Let me take you back to a cold January morning in Rotterdam, 2022. A new seller mandate was very excited. He had what seemed like a solid buyer from Dubai. The buyer claimed to have tank space ready, shared fancy looking documentation to the seller and asked to proceed with a dip test. Trusting the documentation, the seller team invested their time, sent their crew, paid port fees, and waited. But guess what happened? The buyer vanished. No payment, no contract, nothing. That single incident wasted over, like say, more than $12,000 in operational cost and nearly cost the mandate is position with the refinery. Therefore, it is important to verify the buyer's mandate or the buyer. It is important for the seller to verify the buyer. Now, let us break down why buyer's verification isn't optional, but it's compulsory for the survival of the entire business. It's compulsory that a seller should verify the buyer's credentials. Without that, seller should not start the deal, or even the seller mandates should not start the deal without verifying the buyer's credentials. That's important. In coming up videos, I will discuss about lot of fake buyers, lot of fake sellers, how they act, how they prepare the documents, how they present the documents. I am going to discuss a lot of things step by step in my videos. So you have to subscribe to this channel to get onto all these videos, and also you can join my full course so that you can get up-to-date knowledge regarding this oil and gas industry, and you can start your exports business, oil and gas export business. So coming to why sellers must verify buyers' credentials. The first point here we can see is preventing product misrepresentations. Like say, unauthorized buyers can obtain inspection reports and falsely market the seller's product as their own. Let's say you give SGS reports or test results to someone who hasn't been verified. They can easily attach that report to another offer and pretend the product is theirs. Here I can say one real example. In 2021, a mandate in Lagos shared POP documents with an unverified intermediary. Within a week, what happened? The same product was being marketed by 5 different brokers. Now, none of whom had any real access to the real buyer. It damaged trust and flooded market with the fake offer. It will happen because if the intermediaries or the buyer mandates don't have the real buyers, and if the seller is giving that SGS report or some other reports or documents to these fake intermediaries or buyers, buyer mandate, then what happened? They will sell the product, they will use those documents, and they will edit those documents, and they will use those documents as their own, and they will circulate in the market. This is why you never had over document. You should not hand over documents unless the buyer is proven legitimate. This is very important. Now coming to the next point, resource protection. Dip tests consume valuable time and personnel that should be reserved for qualified buyers. What I mean by this? Now here you can see protecting your resources. Running a dip test isn't as simple as sticking a pipe in a tank. It requires coordination with the terminal staff, booking of time slots, security clearance, and trained inspection personnel. Everything should come into uh, everything should come into place to start the dip test. So there should be a coordination between the terminal staff, and also time slot should have to be booked, and also the security clearance, and a lot of things are going to happen when there is a dip test. In another example, I can say in Fujairah, in 2023, a seller team spent almost 3 days preparing for a dip test. And they did all the terminal coordination alone on their own cost. Like say they have spent more than like $3,000 to $5,000, but the buyer disappeared 24 hours before the scheduled test. What happened? The buyer disappeared, even though they have done all the coordination. Why? Because buyer mandate told them that no, our buyer is genuine and can lift the product and everything. After taking those mandates words, the seller team done all the coordination work and invested the amount for this deep test. But what happened? The buyer, there is no buyer. There is no buyer. All the amount is lost. So if there's no verified buyer, there shouldn't be any dip test. No dip test. Period. If there is no verified buyer, there should be no. The seller should not start any dip test. This is what happened in the real refineries and the real industry of these exports of oil. But most these buyer mandates or this buyer brokers don't understand this thing. The dip test needs some money to be invested and requires some coordination, a lot of coordination, and it will take some time for all this to happen. Therefore, just don't ask if you are a buyer mandate or if you are a buyer broker. You don't ask about dip test before. Why? Because without verification of your buyer by the seller, you should not ask all those things. So you have to move as per the procedure. So this you have to understand, and this you have to keep in mind. Next, coming to document abuse. Yes, and other inspection reports can be misused to create fraudulent transaction chains. Yes, this will happen. So you have to avoid documentation abuse. SGS and similar reports are considered golden in this industry. Why? Because they are authentic documents. But if those reports fall into the wrong hands, what happened? They can be used to fake a paper trail, luring real buyers into fraudulent transactions. Yes, real buyers also will get lot of losses if these fraudulent documents are being circulated all over. Now, in another example, in Singapore, in 2020, a seller's outdated SGS report was reused by a scammer to build a fake FOB deal chain. The documents looked illegitimate, and a buyer mandate in Poland almost wired $300,000 as an advance. Luckily, their legal team caught the inconsistency in terminal dates. What is the moral here? Even a 6 months old document can become a scam tool if not handled properly. So avoiding documentation abuse is important, because these SGS reports are very important reports in this oil and gas industry. So you have to keep this in mind. Even if you are a buyer mandate, buyer broker, or a seller mandate, or a seller broker, you have to keep this in mind. Otherwise, you will get caught in one or the other deal. Next, coming to the next point, market integrity. Proper TSR verification maintains industry standards and protects legitimate participants. Now, regarding all these details, you learn in the complete course. What are these documents? What is TSR and all the documents? You learn all those things in the full course. Here I am giving you overview regarding this oil and gas industry and how buyers and sellers act, so that you play cautiously in this oil and gas business. Now, coming to preservation or preserving this market integrity, we all rely on each other's discipline to keep this industry clean, right? Verifying the tank storage receipt, checking financial capacity, and validating communication channels helps weed out time wasters. Now, here one more example I want to give you. A refinery representative in Houston in 2022 verified a TSR directly with the terminal, only to discover it was fabricated. Now you see, some buyer mandates fabricate the TSR and they'll present it to the seller. And then when it will be investigated, or when it is verified, it comes as a fabricated document. Now, what happened in this Houston deal? So you can see here the buyer had taken a real company name and edited the document header. You can see how fraud is going on in this industry. Every check you perform, isn't it just protecting you? It's protecting everyone in your network. This you have to understand. Next, granting access without proper TSR verification enables unauthorized intermediaries to create misleading market opportunities at the seller's expense. Now here you can see, stopping unauthorized access to the market. If sellers are too eager and real documents or grant site visits too early, if sellers are too eager and release documents too early. So first of all, sellers has to verify the buyer's credentials. If sellers are too excited and they start on releasing the documents too early, what happens? Unauthorized intermediaries can take access and the market and they'll collapse the deal. Why? Because those unauthorized intermediaries don't have the actual buyer. One more example here I can say, in 2021, a mandate in Istanbul allowed an early product visit without proper financial verification. The next day, screenshots of the site visit were shared across. You understand? This is what is going to happen if you are not verifying the buyer credentials. The site of the tank farm and also the documents will be all over the internet, and they will use those documents as their own, and they will start getting some advances and run away. Now what happens? Your refinery, you are a seller mandate, your refinery will be in trouble. So here is the bottom line. Verification isn't it just bureaucracy? It's your defense line. It protects your documents, your money, your time, and your reputation. And in a business where deals can go into millions, that protection is worth every second you spend verifying. So you should not think like that, oh, the documentation will take, verification of the documents will take a lot of time. You should not think like that, because this business goes into millions and millions of dollars, and protection of each and document is important. Each and every document is important. Therefore, you have to verify each and every document. So this was it for buyer's credential. Up next, let me walk you through the exact verification steps every seller should follow, so you will never fall into these traps. Ready? Let's go to the next video. If you haven't joined my full course of oil and gas exports, then you can join it. There is a video link below in the description. Below this video there is a link. You can join from there and you can start the full course. Why it's important? Because when you go through the step-by-step procedures of this oil and gas exports industry, you will learn a lot of things. How to understand about the buyer, how to understand about the seller, what are those documents used in this oil and gas industry, and what are the procedures, actual procedures to be followed. And I'm going to teach you regarding the procedures, complete procedures, how this oil and gas exports industry works. Step by step guidelines I am going to give you in this course. Therefore, if you haven't joined yet, you can join. There is a link below this video. So some people will ask why we should join. Here, let me say, if you are doing business of say like oil and gas export business, and if you get a single order and you are completing a deal of like say 100,000 metric tons per month into 12 months, then if you are even making a single dollar, you are making $100,000 per month. If you are making $5, you are making $500,000 per month. So this business is a big business. It goes into multi-million dollars, and the chances of becoming successful is more here. But this will happen only when you go through the right kind of procedure, and when you play safe, then only you can get into this business and you can get success. Therefore, right away, without thinking, join this course as of now and start this course. And after completion of the course, I'm going to give you support in this industry for the documentation, and also in the deals during the when you proceed with the deals, and when you are getting the buyers or sellers, I'm going to help you in this entire business of oil and gas. Therefore, I want to see you inside my course. Get in now. There is a link in the description. All the best. Let's jump in. Thank you.